Okay, I was thrilled the other day to discover that musical art is not dead in these current and young generations. I'm not going to go that far. I still think it's generally dead, musical art. Mostly dead. We're not in a good era for musical art. The millennial and Gen Z generations, they just don't seem as inspired as past generations to make great music and creative music, inspired music. The Taylor Swift method, which is finding a young person with a moderate amount of musical talent, maybe even a significant amount of musical talent, but then surrounding them with a team of professional songwriters and hit makers and producers and musicians, and molding them and crafting them and manufacturing them into a public artist. That dominates the industry now, and it's disheartening. It's depressing and disheartening. I mean, Taylor Swift and other artists I'm not going to call out by name that have found their success through this method, they make great music. I mean, whoever's making it, and I imagine it's a collaborative effort, but when you see liner notes for a Taylor Swift record and most of the songs have multiple producers as co-writers, you think, okay, she's definitely contributing, but you got to wonder how much is she contributing to these great songs. And there's a few Taylor Swift songs that I do really enjoy. 7 off her Folklore record it's beautiful, and to me, it's damn close to poetic. Shake It Off is a pop classic. That's just a very elevating. What am I looking for? Feel good. I don't want to rely on feel good. That's an overused phrase. I had a better phrase on the tip of my cerebellum, tip of my brain, as opposed to the tip of my tongue. It didn't quite travel from the tip of my brain to the tip of my tongue, so I'm trying to transfer it from the brain to the tongue. Let me think for a second here, and take the risk of providing dead air in this video. Feel good. It's a joyful, Shake It Off, a joyful, life-affirming song. Just a great song. And Lover, a little corny, but really, really well done. Perfect song. So, but that method, you can hear it in the music. It does sound manufactured. It doesn't sound raw and flawed and free as if it came from one individual or a handful of individuals who are collaborating in an organic musical effort, such as a band or some sort of musical ensemble. It doesn't have that quality, and that really stinks, because there's always a role for Spice Girls, Britney Spears, Taylor Swift, manufactured music, manufactured art, because it brings a lot of people joy. I love that a bunch of young girls and even middle-aged women, they love Taylor Swift, and guys like me, I love a few songs by her too. But I mean, you gotta make room for art. You gotta, these people in the music industry, on the upper levels of the music industry, they stopped taking risks around the late 90s, and you could see it. You can see it started happening even in the 70s or the 80s. I think more accurately in the 80s. No, 70s too. There's a lot of corporate rock in the 70s, but late 90s they got sick of taking risks and losing money. And Rick Beato did a good video on this. He said about the same 4 people were mixing the records, and you can hear it in the late 90s music. There was a hard rock brand at that time. A lot of bands followed it. Man, oh man, and art just slowly began to die. Yeah, there's a lot of great music that's still being put out. Man, oh man, not nearly as much as there used to be when they signed people that were genuinely artistic and independently artistic, and they just said, hey, we're going to give you some money. We'll give you maybe 1 record. Let's see what you do. Do what you want. They don't do that anymore. They have to make sure they're going to make a profit, and it's killed art. But it hasn't killed art completely, because there's a band from Ireland called Fontaines DC. They seem very popular, so I'm sure a lot of you have heard of them, but I just heard of them for the first time the other night. So here's my takes on this. Brilliant band. Again, all the qualities that I described before that you don't hear from this manufactured pop and art that's dominating the music industry now. You hear those human, those flawed, loose, unhinged qualities in Fontaines DC. You know, they clearly, and I looked it up to confirm it, they write their own stuff, and you could tell they do. Their latest record, Romance, I've really been digging. Starburster is the single, and it's a hit. It's a really good tune. I wanted to give a few takes on this song. Yeah, right away, and this is is my main take on this song. It's great millennial / Gen Z art. You hear the hip hop inspired beat. You hear the electronic loop in the beginning, some type of synthesized strings. And when you hear his vocals, it's very rap inspired, hip hop inspired, but it still maintains a rock foundation and execution. Hip hoppy, but he's still a rock singer. Great edge to it, great rock and roll edge, very edgy. I'm waiting until they get to the chorus, because it is a really good chorus. See, I'm bopping. I like it. Here's the chorus. And to my ears, that's very millennial, very Gen Z, very modern and current. And it's a brilliant take on what happens to be the modern trend. I mean, trends don't have to be for the worse. You know, if you're a brilliant artist, or even just a mediocre artist, if you're very creative and inspired by what's again, going back to Rush in the 80s, they were genuinely inspired by new wave, and you got great synthesized songs like Subdivisions, Force 10, Manhattan Project, Mission. What are some other Rush like new wave bangers? Big Money, got a lot of keyboards in it. I know that almost broke up the band when Geddy Lee started indulging keyboards too much, but I love 80s Rush. So you can take any trend, any sound. To me, it's foolish to, even if the sound is indeed trendy, it's foolish to strictly and exclusively associate it with a genre or style or era. Just look at it as purely sound, as if you just heard your door being slammed. It's another sound. So these sounds that have become trendy with Gen Z millennial music, they can be used brilliantly. Unfortunately, I don't hear many people using them brilliantly, incorporating them brilliantly. Billie Eilish's Bad Guy, that's a brilliant song. That's a great use of millennial Gen Z elements, like the kooky keyboard riff. I'm going to try to sing it, but I don't remember it that well. It's got, to me, I always described millennial music, and I guess now Gen Z music, as kind of Teletubby-ish, which I meant as a diss at the time. I think I was watching some millennial videos, and I thought, man, what is up with these visuals? But again, if it's incorporated properly and artistically, it could be brilliant. Any sound could be brilliant. You got to just push the creative part of your brain and make it brilliant. So yeah, Bad Guy. There's a song by XXX Tentacion called Moonlight. Very kooky millennial Teletubby-ish keyboards, or some type of synth loop. And this Starburster, that chorus. I mean, I think the singer is making that aggressive inhale, but it sounds like it's sampled, and it sounds like he probably did it separately, and then they, in hip hop electronic style, they cut it out of the original track and sampled it into this track. It's got that really cool detached feel from his other vocal leading up to it. So yeah, this band is brilliant. It's really great music. The singer is a bit of a poet. He is a poet. There's one line he had, I think it's in this song, Romance. Here I am in the dark again. Here I am with the pigs in the pen. This is why I should prepare for these videos more, but I find it better just to freestyle. But yeah, there's a cool opening line here. Very poetic guy. Great lyrics. Dark, but not wallowing in the darkness or misery, but acknowledging it, and acknowledging it poetically. Yeah, this is the opening track, Romance, title track. Into the Darkness again, great voice. In with the Pigs in the Pen. Ooh, that's tough stuff. That's heavy. I love it. There's another line. I should have noted this down. All right, I'm not gonna cause all this dead air looking for it, but yeah, there's some great lines on this. I definitely recommend digging into Romance by Fontaines DC, and I've been digging into their previous record, which is called Skinty Fia. That's pretty cool too. I like it both.